He was young, he was eager, he wanted to prove himself. For 5 years he poured his heart and soul into his job. He was passionate, he was loyal, he had integrity. This young man was a model employee. His bosses initially praised him, his colleagues sought his help. He was respected, he was valued, he believed in the company, he believed in his work. He thought this was the start of a long and fruitful career. Little did he know, a storm was brewing. His dedication would be taken for granted, his loyalty would be tested. As time went on, things started to change. The days grew longer, and the nights seemed shorter. The relentless ticking of the clock echoed the monotony of his routine. He was assigned to the same machine, performing the same tasks over and over again. Day in and day out, the work became monotonous. His body ached from the repetitive strain. His mind grew weary from the lack of variety. But he persisted. He needed the job to survive. He had bills to pay, responsibilities to meet, and a family to support. He ignored the warning signs, he ignored the pain, he kept working, kept producing, kept believing that things would get better. His bosses saw his dedication, they noticed his unwavering commitment, but they saw something else too. They saw an opportunity to exploit his hard work, an opportunity to squeeze every last drop of productivity out of him without any regard for his well-being. They piled on more tasks, increasing his workload to unbearable levels. They didn't care about his well-being. They were indifferent to his struggles and pain. They only cared about the bottom line, the profits, and the numbers on their financial statements. The inevitable happened. The repetitive motions, the long hours, the constant strain on his body, it was all too much. Day after day, he pushed himself beyond his limits, ignoring the warning signs. The lack of proper training, it all caught up with him. He was overwhelmed, trying to keep up with the demands of his job. The pressure was immense, and the support was non-existent. He suffered a serious injury. The pain was debilitating. He couldn't work, he couldn't sleep. Every movement was agony, and he felt trapped in his own body. He went to his bosses, hoping for support. He believed they would understand his plight and offer assistance. After all, he had been a loyal employee for years. He thought they would care. He was wrong. They showed little concern. They questioned his story. Their indifference was a harsh blow, adding insult to injury. They implied he was faking it. He was shocked. He felt betrayed. The accusations cut deep, leaving him feeling isolated and mistrusted. He had given them years of his life. He had been dedicated, always going above and beyond. The memories of his hard work and commitment now felt tainted. He had put his health at risk. The sacrifices he made seemed meaningless in the face of their betrayal. The medical bills piled up, and the future looked uncertain. And this was how they repaid him? His trust was shattered, his spirit was broken. He was left to pick up the pieces of his life, feeling abandoned and alone. He tried to stand up for himself. He knew his rights. He had always been a dedicated employee, someone who believed in fairness and justice. He wasn't just fighting for himself, he was fighting for everyone who had been wronged. He knew he deserved better. He had put in countless hours, sacrificed personal time, and always went the extra mile. His dedication was unquestionable, but his voice was silenced. His concerns were dismissed. It was as if his years of hard work meant nothing. The more he tried to speak up, the more he was pushed aside. The CEO, the one who had initially praised him, turned on him. The very person who once saw potential in him now saw him as a threat. His colleagues, the ones who had sought his help, now avoided him. They whispered behind his back, afraid to be associated with him. He was labeled a troublemaker, a nuisance. He was blacklisted. The label stuck, and it followed him everywhere he went. On the day his contract expired, he was called into the boss's office. He knew what was coming, but it didn't make it any easier. They gave him a list of reasons for his layoff, reasons that were fabricated, lies that painted him as the villain, reasons that were designed to punish him, to silence him, to make an example out of him so that no one else would dare to speak up. He was emotional blackmailed, bullied, insulted, disrespected by his boss, even got to the wife of his CEO, treating him like trash. His colleagues hated him, spoiled his name with jealousy and envy. Even when he sees him going through pain with tears running down his face, still they were still mean to him and talked down on him. He kept his focused. He left the office that day feeling empty, betrayed, discarded. Everything he had worked for was taken away in an instant. This wasn't just about a job, this was about dignity. This was about justice. It was about standing up for what was right, even when the odds were against him. And he knew deep down that this fight was far from over. He would continue to fight, not just for himself, but for everyone who had been wronged. A true life story of a young man from Africa, there's more to it to be continued.